Welcome to Voyage Daily Tech, the most important news personalized for you every day, supported by Voyage.com.
We've got 5 fascinating tech stories lined up for you today. First up, we'll explore how Amazon's easy return policy is creating a nightmare of fraud, waste, and even biohazards for sellers. Then we'll dive into how AI-generated fake videos are becoming a powerful new weapon in the escalating Israel-Iran conflict. After that, we're covering the bombshell lawsuit accusing Apple and Tim Cook of misleading investors about their actual AI progress. From there, we'll investigate why your power bill is soaring as energy-hungry AI data centers push the aging US grid to its breaking point. And finally, we'll wrap up with a serene gardening game that unexpectedly smashed Fortnite's player records on the Roblox platform. Let's start with a story that might make you think twice about your next Amazon return. A customer recently received a baby product with someone else's rotten breast milk inside. The buyer wrote a review saying she will never forget that smell. In another case, a small business owner was horrified to learn that used soiled swim diapers had been returned and then shipped out to a new customer. These aren't just isolated horror stories, they're symptoms of a massive breakdown that's pushing small sellers to the edge. The core of the problem? A surge in returns fraud. One seller of protective cases says his net profit on Amazon is just over 1%. A margin he claims is totally due to fraud and return abuse. He reports a return rate on Amazon that is 4 times higher than on other marketplaces like Walmart. Another seller of music gear says his Amazon return rate is 3 times higher than anywhere else, forcing him to install a 40 camera system in his warehouse just to fight fraudulent claims. And the numbers are staggering. In 2024, an estimated 14% of all US retail returns were fraudulent, costing retailers nearly $890 billion. While Amazon says it has no tolerance for fraudulent returns and has launched programs to resell or donate over 300 million items a year, the environmental cost remains immense. Last year alone, online returns generated an estimated 29 million metric tons of carbon emissions, and a jaw-dropping 9.8 billion pounds of returned goods ended up in US landfills. So some sellers are now abandoning Amazon's fulfillment program, even if it hurts their business. It seems to be a choice between profits and customer safety, leaving everyone to wonder if the convenience of one-click returns has created a system that is simply too broken to fix. Speaking of broken systems, our next story looks at how reality itself is being fractured online in a very high-stakes environment. In the escalating conflict between Israel and Iran, the real bombshell isn't just physical, it's digital. Just 3 fake AI-generated videos have exploded across social media, amassing a staggering 100 million views. This isn't just old footage being reshared, this is a new frontier of digital warfare. One expert is calling it the first time we've seen generative AI be used at scale during a conflict. The fakes are designed for maximum impact. One AI image depicting dozens of missiles raining down on Tel Aviv has alone drawn 27 million views. Another wave of deepfakes purports to show the destruction of Israel's advanced F-35 fighter jets. According to one analyst, if these clips were real, it would mean Iran had wiped out 15% of Israel's entire F-35 fleet. So who's behind this? We're seeing pro-Iranian and pro-Israeli accounts both pushing misleading content, but some researchers are pointing to a more strategic player. One expert from the Alethea Group noted that the intense focus on F-35's mirrors tactics previously linked to Russian influence operations, suggesting a coordinated effort to undermine the credibility of Western military technology. As she put it, Russia doesn't really have a response to the F-35, so what can it do? It can seek to undermine support for it. What really brought this to a head was the next development. When users on X asked the platform's own AI chatbot, Grok, to verify a fake video of missiles emerging from a mountain, the AI repeatedly insisted the footage was real, even telling users to check trusted news for clarity. The lines are blurring so much that even official sources are getting caught. Iranian state media has shared fake strike footage, while a post by the Israel Defense Forces was flagged for using old, unrelated video. The chilling takeaway is this. In the next global crisis, when AI is generating the evidence and other AIs are confirming it's real, the very concept of truth could become the first casualty. From AI on the battlefield, we now turn to the corporate boardroom, where a different kind of AI battle is brewing. A class action lawsuit for securities fraud claims that Apple, one of the world's most valuable companies, massively overstated its AI capabilities, misleading investors and the public. The lawsuit alleges that while Apple was hyping up a revolutionary AI-powered Siri for the upcoming iPhone 16, the company was hiding a critical secret: it lacked a functional prototype for these advanced features. According to the complaint, Apple couldn't have reasonably believed these promised features would ever be ready in time. The core of the conflict is a direct accusation that the company, including CEO Tim Cook, who is named as a defendant, downplayed significant delays in its AI development. Shareholders argue that Apple led them to believe AI would be a key driver for new iPhone sales, all while knowing its technology wasn't there yet. And the fallout, a number so big it's hard to wrap your head around. Since its peak, Apple's stock has shed approximately $900 billion in market value, with the lawsuit seeking to recover potentially hundreds of billions in shareholder losses tied directly to these alleged misrepresentations. The complaint points to a series of events, starting with a quiet delay of some Siri upgrades to 2026, as the moment the truth began to unravel. This culminated in a worldwide developers conference where Apple's AI progress reportedly disappointed analysts. This isn't just about a delayed feature. This is a lawsuit accusing one of the world's biggest companies of building hype on a foundation that wasn't there, leaving everyone to ask, just how big is the gap between what Apple is promising with AI and what it can actually deliver? While Apple grapples with its software promises, the entire tech industry is facing a much more tangible problem, one that's showing up on your utility bill. So the thing is, your power bill is now officially rising almost twice as fast as inflation. While the cost of everything else is cooling down, electricity prices have jumped 4.5% in the past year, and the government predicts they will continue to outpace inflation through 2026. So what's draining the grid and your wallet? The answer is a massive, unexpected surge in demand, and the main culprit is the tech industry. Data centers, the vast warehouses powering artificial intelligence and cloud computing, are described as insatiably energy hungry. Consider the numbers. Data center electricity use tripled in the last decade, but that's just the appetizer. The US Energy Department projects their consumption will double or even triple again by 2028. By then, data centers are expected to devour up to 12% of the entire country's electricity. To put that in perspective, the International Energy Agency revealed that by 2030, the US is set to consume more electricity for processing data than for manufacturing all of its energy-intensive goods like steel, cement, and chemicals combined. This is where the situation takes a more complex turn. This historic demand is crashing into a system that's already breaking down. As one JP Morgan expert put it, the grid is aged. Here's how bad it is. Need a new transformer, a critical piece of equipment to keep the lights on? In 2019, the wait was 4 to 6 weeks. Today, the delivery time is 2 to 3 years. So what happens next? Well, on top of that record demand and those crippling delays, a report from JP Morgan Asset Wealth Management revealed a final staggering fact. Half of all transformers currently operating across the United States are already near the end of their useful lives. You know, it's a ticking time bomb for the nation's infrastructure. After all that heavy news about infrastructure and lawsuits, let's switch gears to something completely different. A story from the world of gaming that caught everyone by surprise. A serene gardening game just did the unthinkable. It smashed a record for concurrent players held by the global phenomenon Fortnite. Yes, you heard that right. A game about slowly growing virtual plants called Grow a Garden attracted over 16 million people to play at the exact same time. It's on the Roblox platform, and while some critics call the gameplay the equivalent of watching paint dry, the numbers tell a completely different story. Since its launch in March, the game has racked up an astonishing 9 billion visits. So what's the secret? On the surface, it's simple. You buy seeds, plant them, and watch them grow, even when you're offline. But the situation presents a fascinating duality. On one side, it's a peaceful hobby, while on the other, it exposes a fiercely competitive streak. Players compete to earn the most shekels, the in-game currency, and can even steal produce from other players' gardens. And where there's competition, there's cash. The gameplay can be sped up using Robux, Roblox's currency bought with real money. This has fueled a secondary market where the stakes are incredibly high. On eBay, the most sought-after virtual items, like a mutated candy blossom tree, are being sold for hundreds of pounds. So Could this virtual obsession actually plant a seed for real-world gardening? An expert at the University of Oxford is skeptical, delivering a killer reality check. A game like this is as likely to encourage real gardening as Super Mario Wonder encourages plumbing. But after all, the most telling fact might come from one of its biggest fans. 10-year-old Owen helps out in his family's actual garden. When asked which he prefers, the real thing or the game, his answer was emphatic: grow a garden.
That's it for today on Voyage Daily Tech. Follow, share, and stay tuned for daily updates coming your way tomorrow.